Good morning, everybody. Cheers. Happy coffee day. Because every day is coffee day, at least in my world. Good morning, good morning. So my husband just tapped another maple tree. So we had quite a bit of discussion about this particular tapping because our other two trees are running rather rapidly. And then our neighbor suggested we tap one of his trees. And so we had to get this like kind of big stainless steel water container that we've had in our garage for years that we've never used. The only problem with it is there used to be a spigot at the bottom. So we had to figure out how to close that up and have it all be food grade and safe for the maple syrup when it goes into that big stainless steel bucket. And so after going back and forth multiple times with multiple suggestions, I won. It's the small wins, because I don't often win when I'm having a discussion with my husband when it comes to, more mechanical type stuff. So my suggestion was to take a wooden kitchen spoon and shave it down so that it comes to a tapered point. And then we can take the wooden spoon, because obviously it has to be food safe, right? I mean, it's a wooden spoon from my kitchen. And then we go in from the inside and we push that down as hard as it will go and give it a twist. And hopefully as the syrup goes into, or as the sap goes into the container, it will cause that wooden spoon to expand even more, although we do have it pretty tight, which will keep the sap from leaking out onto the ground. So everybody, keep your fingers crossed that this works, or I'll probably be in doo-doo. Especially since we're going to give the syrup from this particular batch back to our neighbors. So we really want it to work. Oh, good morning. Hello. Oh, yay, you're sharing. Fabulous. Okay, so this is a fun card. I'm very anxious to share it with you. I'm actually not going to show you what the front looks like. I'm not thrilled with the front of the card, but I love how the inside turned out. So I don't know if I might experiment a little on the front of the card or not. I might, because I only actually made one complete card, and I'm making the other two cards live with you. And so we'll kind of see how it goes. Now, if you are on my Facebook page watching this, please like it, because that really helps me kind of rank a little higher in the Facebook rating. So I don't know if you've liked my page or not, but any likes would be appreciated. If you happen to be catching this Facebook Live after the fact over on YouTube, oh, please, please, please subscribe to my channel, because that is another way of helping me. So if you like my videos and you like seeing what I share, please subscribe in one of those two places. It really, really does make a difference. Also, my kit to go, the sign-up period ends on the 14th. And so I have already put a link in the description of this Facebook post that you can click on. And it will take you to my blog, www.stampingtoshare.com. And once there, you will learn more about that kit. And then you can contact me and I'll give you a link for you to sign up and register to get your kit to go. Oh my gosh, we've had so many signups this month. It is obviously going to be a very popular kit to go. So I thank you so much for trusting me. All right, and I think what we'll do, yes, I think what we will do is we will flip this camera down. Gosh, I've had the card kind of upside down here, so I don't even remember what the top looks like. So I think it's just going to be a mystery giveaway on Thursday. I'm not sure what I'll give away when I do give away these two cards. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. It'll be a mystery. Lots of mysteries today. So you won't know what the front of the card looks like until we're doing it live. And even I don't know, because I might change that. But I will flip the camera down and show you the inside and how all of that looks. So give me a second and we'll get started with this card. Okay, so Yay! Let's look at all these fun products that we're using. So this is the inside panel of the card. It's so pretty. Kind of one of those things where when you close it up, it sort of has this little pop-up in the center. And I did the sentiments so that there's still room to maybe write somebody's name here and then your name down here. So not a lot of writing required, which is always, great. So let's put that aside for a minute. And the inks that we're using today, Poppy Parade and Jet Black StazOn ink. You could use probably any color of ink. I just happened to grab my StazOn Jet Black ink. Now, if you do go ahead and get the StazOn, I highly recommend that you get the StazOn cleaner at the same time. Otherwise, your stamps will be permanently stained like this. But the StazOn cleaner takes it right off. And honestly, I don't have a problem with this because the StazOn is so strong. I can put other colors over the top of this and it doesn't actually transfer. But if you do like keeping your stamps looking nice and new, you may want to consider getting that StazOn remover. And you can search for that in my online store. Okay, so we're going to set those aside. What else are we using today? Well, this is, again, my kit to go for this month. It is the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. So we have our butterflies here. And you guys, people are ordering from me. I'm so excited about this. They're with their happy stamper tokens, which means they get it free. In fact, I've had 2 people do this already. They're getting a second butterfly set because the first one comes all together like a big background stamp set, and they're getting a second one so that they can cut it apart and use the individual butterflies however they feel free. So example, you might want to stamp an individual butterfly on the inside panel of the card or on your envelopes, whatever. So I've ordered an extra one, but I haven't gotten it in yet, or I definitely probably would have been showing that off. So set that aside for a second. And then of course it comes with gorgeous dies. So these great big dies like this. I also think you should get the butterfly 6x6 paper that's specific to this. Again, that's something you can search in my online store. It's absolutely beautiful. It will not carry over into the new catalog, although these other items will. And the die set is large. So you also have all of these butterfly, oh, do I even have one handy? Oh, I do. You can do little cutouts that look like this with these kind of dies. So really pretty and intricate. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. So I will not need that. And then because this stamp set doesn't come with words, it's a great time to add on the Happy Thoughts to your Stampin' Up! Order, because the Happy Thoughts stamp set has a wonderful selection of words. Congratulations, thank you, happy birthday, thinking of you. It's a very versatile stamp set and I really, really love it. So I am using it in conjunction with my kit to go this month and also on this card. We are going to make a banner. So I have the triple banner punch here. We are going to also use the blending brushes. So I have one blending brush that I've been using, and I don't even clean it. I probably should, but it seems like when I rub it off on scrap paper, most of the color comes out and I haven't really had any transfer issues. I think you can clean it easily though if you wish, just by running it under tap water, which I'm too lazy to do. I'd have to get up and go to another room, for heaven's sakes. We are going to be using the Playful Pets ribbon combo trim. And so we won't be using the red one this time. We'll be using the twine, the black and white baker's twine. And one of my favorite paper packs, which I just can't stop using, is the True Love Designer Series paper. So we'll be using that as well today. All right, so I think what we should do is we'll start working on that front panel of the card. So I've got a 1 by 4 inch strip here, and we're going to go ahead and just make a punch out with the triple banner punch. So we're going to put this in, push it all the way to the back and give it a punch down. Do the same thing over here. And we are going to make birthday cards. So let me grab my stamp. And as I mentioned, I'm using the Stays On Black ink. So we'll go ahead and use that. So I'm just going to ink it up. And we're going to stamp it right in the middle. So there's one. Oh, that looks crappy. Have you ever had that happen where you've stamped something and you don't like it? Well, we're just going to throw that one to the side. I think I have, hold on. The problem is I can't get my head directly over it, so we'll try again. There we go, much better. Here's my backup in case I goofed up. I just didn't put my backup on the desk. So again, I'm going to bring it closer to me so I can actually see what I'm doing. Makes for a little better stamping. And there we go. So we have really nice centered happy birthdays. So that's going to go on the front of our card. Then I'm going to just set those aside for a minute. And I'm going to bring out some scrap paper. And we are going to be using the True Love Designer Series paper, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I'm going to take my Poppy Parade ink. Ooh, that's a little stiff. There we go. I must not use it that much. And then we have the Stampin' Up! Blending brush. So I'm just going to pop that in here. And so I am going to do something different with one of these cards. First, I'll show you how I did the first card. I don't know if that really turned out or not. So I just take the blending brush, I get it full of ink. Then starting off the paper, I bring it in like this. And I just go like that all the way around because I want to kind of color this red. So there we go. And then I don't know if you guys are aware, but the paper pack that Stampin' Up! Offered with the butterflies, it has like these different variation and variegations. So then I went in and I sort of enhanced some of these sections with like darker areas. So let's just do that once. And I know it's not very pretty, right? Let's hope it gets prettier as the other things are put on it. So that's kind of the look I did when I first was making this card. I was just trying to get something that looked variant, like had variations throughout the paper. So that's what that looks like. Now on the screen on my iPad, it's looking incredibly orange. I want you to know that in my house, it looks beautifully red. So that is one little misjudgment you could be making just by seeing the video. Oh, it looks kind of scary orange. Looks like pumpkin orange. All right, so we're going to take that off. Now I think I want to try something a little different because I'm going to have a butterfly on the front. Oh, and I just got ink on this. Oh, well, it maybe won't show. Maybe if I flip it over. Yeah, we'll do it like this. All right, so I'm going to have my butterfly like right here. So again, this time I want to make it sort of like open up from the middle so that we have the most, the ink, the intensity of the ink will be here, but that's going to be covered up because I'm going to put a butterfly over the top of it. Oh my gosh, I keep running into ink here. So everybody, keep your fingers crossed and hopefully this will look decent. So let's go ahead. We're just going to start here kind of in the middle. And remember that intensity in the middle is not really going to show. So we started in the middle and then we just bring that soft color to the outer edge. I'm going to do it one more time. And like I said, this center section will be covered up. Then I think I want a little bit of something going on down here. So I'm going to offset it a little bit, so maybe it's a little more to the right. So again, I'm just going to tap my brush onto the ink pad. We're going to start about right here. And I think that's going to be covered up by the sentiment. And I think I'll stop there because once, you know, you just want something light. It's very hard to stop, let me tell you. All right, so let's put that stuff away. And now what we're going to do is layer that up. So I've got 2 panels of basic black paper. That looks like this, 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to take our multi-purpose liquid glue. And we're just going to set these in. And the reason I like using glue is it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So there we go. We got that wiggled into place. I'm going to take this piece over here. I promise it will probably look okay once we get everything done. And it kind of depends on your style. I mean, this really does more imitate what Stampin' Up! Is doing with their you know, they have this whole kaleidoscope of colors and they fade in and fade out. So you have a lot going on. So we've got this look and we've got this look. Now we're going to take our 2 happy birthdays. In fact, I think I'll get this out of the way now because we won't need it anymore. Wow, that really went out of the way. It actually went flying. And we got a problem because I have ink on my fingers. So I just got ink on this, which means I need to wipe my fingers off. And then I think I need to cut a new scrap. And we are just going to have to take like a 30-second commercial break. So give me a second. Now we'll get back to the regularly scheduled program. So what we're going to do next is we are going to take this twine and we're going to tie a bow. So it doesn't really matter where you start with this because when I tie a bow with twine, I need to do a knot and you can move this around. So the first thing we're going to do is just put knots on. And then I'll use my scissors. All right, so we just did a knot. And we can move that knot and put it wherever we want. So we're going to do the exact same thing over here. So it doesn't matter where you tie it, just tie it on. And we're going to do our bow. We're going to do both bows. So there's one. And I have to say I'm pretty impressed. It looks good. And because I want this bow to stay in its place, I'm going to take your pick tool. I'm going to grab a mini glue dot. And we're just going to slip that under the knot. So that does a couple of things. It keeps it from sliding around on your card. And it keeps your bow looking pretty and in place. Uh-oh, I'm getting a little picky. Well, you know, how do I not get picky when I know I'm sending this card to one of you? So it's just my nature. Okay, so here is the second one. And again, this turned out pretty nice. So we're going to call it good. Just trim up those ends. And again, go ahead and slip a glue dot under the end of it. And that looks great. All right, now flip those pieces over. And we're going to take some Stampin' Seal. And we're just running some Stampin' Seal right down the banner. And then we are going to add a couple more glue dots. So we're going to put glue dots back here so that this edge stays really secure onto the card. So let me do that. So I'm putting 2 glue dots on each of these banners, just kind of behind this ribbon area here, and that's going to just keep it nice and secure. There we go. All right, let's bring our front panels back. I'm afraid to touch these. I'm sure this is probably dry by now. So now what you're going to do is set this in so that it is flush to the basic black. And then you're just going to press it down. I am so scared I'm going to get ink on something that I think I'm going to take the back of my block and press it down that way so I don't have to touch my fingers on it. All right, and then you're going to do the same thing over here. There we go. Okay, so yes, I know. That's why I focused on the inside. All right, so then what we did, okay, so then I stamped butterflies. So let me get all this out of the way so I can show you what I did. Look at this, you guys. Isn't this fun? So what I did is I took a big sheet. This is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of basic white. And then I took my great big, this is a huge block. You'll want to get this or make sure that you have something you can use. This is the block F from Stampin' Up. It's great to use with your background stamps or with this giant butterfly stamp. So how I did this is I just inked it all up in my jet black ink and I stamped it here. And then I stamped it here. Of course, you'd have scrap paper over here. And then I stamped it here. And then I needed one more butterfly because each card actually needs 4 butterflies. So then I stamped one more here. So then I had 4 big butterflies. Then I took my scissors and I just cut into 4 sections like this. And then I took that great big die, which looks like this, and I just lined it up and I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I did keep all of my extras because I can use those in other projects. So for right now, for this project, I just wanted this great big one here. But on the ones that were kind of like for example, oh, well, for some reason, I didn't get ink on this spot, but for some of them, I had sort of a little cut off. I still kept those because I thought they would look kind of cute, like on the edge, like the butterflies flying in. So even your cutoffs you can keep if you inked your stamp up properly. Oh, like here's a perfect example. Like I would still keep this one and use it on another project where maybe I just want the butterfly floating in from the side. All right, so then what you're going to have is you are going to have so you're going to have 4 butterflies. So 2 of the butterflies are going to go on the front of the card. So here we go. We've got our 2, and we're gonna put those on just like that. All right, so I am going to use Stampin' Seal, and we want these flat, and I'll share why in a sec. I mean, unless you're giving this card to someone in person, you probably want to keep this kind of flat so that it is mailable without paying $4. Because the inside does sort of get puffy when you're using those layers. All right, so looks like this. So there's our surprise front panel. So now let's put those front panels on our cards. So we're going to use Poppy Parade cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to fold that in half. I always use a bone folder to get a really nice crisp edge. And then we're going to take this right here, and using multi-purpose liquid glue, we will just put this down. And that looks just perfect. Okay, then I do have one that actually has a completed inside. I didn't want to do this because I knew it was going to take a long time. So I have one ready to go where all we need to do is put on our front panel and we're done. So once again, and see how this pops up? Because it gets pretty thick with all those layers, because you're actually scoring your butterflies in half and then gluing them together. So that's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's basically 8 layers. So that can get a little spendy if it ends up being taller than 1/4 inch if you're trying to mail it. So there we go. So one card is done, but I know you want to know how to do the inside panel. So we're going to work on that right now. So let me go grab my score tool, because that is the next thing we're going to need. So we're going to put the butterfly portion together first. So I have, as I mentioned, when you do all of that butterfly stamping, you are going to end up with 4 of the large butterflies, and I am going to now score these in half. So you want to score them from the back side so that when you fold them, you're folding them towards the mountain side. So what I do is, because I have these little picks in here to help me know exactly where I'm scoring. I'm going to see if I can pull the camera up. Just give me a second. Nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I will just hold it up in a minute. So I have this to mark it. So I'm just marking one of the markers between the antenna and then just going right down the middle of the body so that it is right like that. So I'm going to hold it up close. I know you probably won't even be able to see that, but that's how I did it. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other 2. So again, you're scoring these from the back. There we go. Then you want to fold them all in half at the score line. And then you're going to glue their little wings together so it will look something like that. So let me get this out of the way. We have to use this one more time. But let's go ahead and get these butterflies glued together. So again, I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue because I know it's a really good holding glue. So I am just putting a little glue here along the edge of the butterfly. And then I am just holding these together, just like so. And it's not going to be a perfect match, but that's okay. It's going to be a little bit off. So then we're going to do the same thing, just fold it up, and you're going to add your other butterfly. So it looks like this. So you get something that's kind of all, and what I love about the glue is I can kind of wiggle it all into place. You're going to get something that kind of looks like this. It sort of opens up like a book. And it will look like that, and that is really pretty. So we're going to take that inside panel. So that's going to go on this card right here. And we're going to set it right here. So how do we do that? So what I do is I open up the card so that I can see that everything is lining up with that center score line. Then I just fold it over. And you know what? I want it to open up a little bit wider. So I think you could have it look a little bit more like this. Yep, that's what I want. So what I want is something that looks a little bit V-shaped like this. So you see how that's coming down into a V? So that helps me know where to glue. So I'm basically gluing all this whole wing down. Then I'm flipping it over and I'm putting it so that it is making a little bit of a V shape. So it kind of comes to a point down here, but gets just a little bit wider up here at the top. In fact, let me grab this so that you can see. So I just went up along the edge of the score line, and you can see now how this is kind of like a V shape. Then I'm going to put glue on the other side over here. Just a very thin amount all over. And then I'm just merely going to fold it in half. And everybody keep your fingers crossed that this works as well as it did last night when I was designing the card. Okay, so we press, press, press. And we open it up. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So super simple. Anybody can do this. And it's just super elegant. I love this inside panel, don't you? Look at how pretty that is when you open it up. Oh my gosh. All right, so then to get this part, let's work on that next. So the panel that we're going to use is 1.5 by 5.5 inches. And after you've stamped it, you're going to score it at 2 3/4. So let's stamp first. So I've got a lovely sentiment here. Again, that's part of the happy thoughts. I'm going to ink it up with my StazOn. Flip it over. I'm bringing it way down towards me because I don't want to mess this up. And that looks great. Then what you're going to do is you're going to score this at 2 3/4. So we're going to take this, we're going to turn it upside down, because you want your score line to come so that the mountain, so that you can fold towards the mountain. So it's going to be scored at, use my actual score tool here, 2 3/4, because that's half of 5.5. And then what I do is I fold it in half, and that is what's going to be on the inside panel. So now, the thing is whenever you put a panel into your card like this, it's never really going to, after this moment in time, it's never really going to open flat, because of the fact that the only way it could open flat is if there was some movement. Well, there's not going to be movement. So it is going to not open quite all the way open like we're looking at it now. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So the first thing I do is I just put Stampin' Seal on one side. And then I just set it in where I want it to be, right next to that fold. And I try to get it as close as I can. And then I go ahead and I do Stampin' Seal on the other side. And just like we did with the butterfly, we just fold it in half and let that grab. And there it is. it opens, it just doesn't open totally flat. You can see that there's a little bit of a wiggle. But you know what? That's okay, because, I mean, your butterfly is still going to pop open just beautifully. And there we have our cards. So I mean, this was a way more complicated card than I usually make, but I just was very excited to share it with you, because even though it's a little more complicated than my normal, I thought it was pretty easy in that it just used 3 butterflies on the inside. All right, so here we go. I am going to leave you go. It was so much fun to be here today, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.